Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I am sharing with you a list of my fall reading books. I haven't read these ones yet, and that's why they are on my list. I can do a video about some of my favorite books that I read this year in 2017, because right now, I had made a goal to read 12 books this year, and I think I'm almost at 30 right now. And so I've just been reading so many great books, and that number, I think I'm going to try and actually get to 50 by the time December or January rolls around. So these are the books that I picked for the fall time. I'm hoping to get done with this list before Christmas time, if I can keep them from the library that long. I usually get a big pile of books from the library, and then I will renew them just however long that I can. And that way I can keep them for a while, and I don't have to constantly make trips back and forth to get another book and another book and another book. So I kind of just pick the genre or the ones that I wanted to read the most for a certain time period, and then I place them on hold at the library and I just go and pick them up. So it's great. The one that I feel like I'm most excited to read is this Red Queen. Now I know that a lot of these books aren't ones that just came out. I know that many of you might have already read them before. This one, it's not something that I actually would have chosen, I think, by myself, because I normally read adult thrillers, and this one is a YA book, and it is more like a fantasy, and I don't really read fantasies that often, I feel like. And so this is definitely, I put this on the list because I've seen so many other people just talk about how great it is, and there's 2 other books after this, so I'm going to try this out and hopefully I will like it. Supposedly it is about a world that is divided by blood, those with red blood and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly Reds destined to serve the silver elite, whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. Mare steals what she can to help her family survive, but when her best friend is conscripted into the army, she gambles everything to win his freedom. A twist of fate leads her to the royal palace itself, where in front of the king and all his nobles she discovers a power of her own, an ability she didn't know she had, except her blood is red. It says power is a dangerous game, so I'm hoping that it is kind of like a thriller. I'm not sure. So I have that one. My husband and I, we went and saw the movie for this last year. I have not read any of these books yet, but the movie was fantastic. So I only have 2 of the books right now, but I'm going to get the 3rd one from the library as well. And so I am super looking forward to these, and I hope that these are amazing, since the movie was, and usually the book is always better. And so this first book is about these children that live, they were from a different time period, and they are kind of misfits, I guess, if you want to say, and they live on this island where you can't really get to it unless there's a loop in the time, and they just redo the time every single day, and they just live the same day over and over again. And so there's a lot more to that, obviously. As our story opens, a horrific family tragedy sets 16-year-old Jacob journeying to a remote island off the coast of Wales, where he discovers the crumbling ruins of Miss Peregrine's home for peculiar children. As Jacob explores its decaying bedrooms and hallways, it becomes clear that Miss Peregrine's children are more than just peculiar. They may have been dangerous. They may have been quarantined on a deserted island for a good reason, and somehow, impossible though it seems, they may still be alive. And so they actually have photos throughout this whole book, and it's actually kind of creepy. So I felt like this was the perfect thing if you like American Horror Story, the TV show. I feel like this is kind of down that alley, just not as gross. This is a YA book, so it's kept pretty, it's kept not graphic. So but yeah, so that's the first one, and then the second one is Hollow City. So I'm not exactly sure what this is about, other than just to keep going with the story. Then I have not read any of the Harry Potter books, So I have seen all of the movies except for the very last one. And then I know that like that new Harry Potter book came out. And so I've just heard so many great things about this, even though it wouldn't be something I necessarily would read, like be on my first reading list. But I definitely am going to start reading them since everyone has said they are fantastic. So that's on my reading list. Everyone has said that this is a great thriller. It's pretty girls, and let's see, it's been more than 20 years since Claire and Lydia last spoke. Claire is the glamorous trophy wife of an Atlanta millionaire. Lydia, a single mother dating an ex-con, struggles to make ends meet, but neither has recovered from the disappearance of their sister Julia 2 decades earlier, and the shocking murder of Claire's husband brings the horror and heartbreak of the past roaring back into their lives. The vanishing of a teenage girl and the killing of a middle-aged man, almost a quarter century apart, what could connect them? As they form a wary truce, their surviving sisters unearth the secrets that destroyed their family all those years ago and find the astonishing truth where they least expected it. So I just love like mystery thriller books like this. So I'm super excited about this. I've heard really good things. All right, so this one called The Butterfly Garden. This has also been recommended for me to read since I like thriller mystery books. And this one just seems so disturbing. And so that's one of the reasons why I picked it for fall, since it's like Halloween time and I like scary things. So this is about a beautiful garden. In this garden grow luscious flowers, shady trees, and a collection of precious butterflies. Women who have been kidnapped and intricately tattooed to resemble their namesakes. Overseeing it all is the gardener, a brutal, twisted man obsessed with capturing and preserving his lovely specimens. It keeps going, but I'm not gonna read the rest of it. But yeah, this sounds amazing. I don't know, I might have to make this one of my first books to read. That sounds pretty creepy. Then this one of my friends told me about. It's called Unwind, and this is a YA book, but this one is about a world. It's like a dystopia book, and I love dystopia books. This one is about a world where you're not allowed to have an abortion, but once your child is 13, between the ages of 13 and 18, parents, if they don't like their child, they can choose to like unwind their child. And it says all of the child's organs are transplanted into different donors, so life doesn't technically end. So yeah, that one sounds creepy also. So I'm super excited about this book because I don't want to have too many creepy books, and I do like ones that have to do with relationships. I read books by Cecilia Ahern. I read her Flawed series, which was amazing. I loved her writing style, and so I found some of her older books, and this one I think was one of her like top books, and it's P.S. I Love You. And so I'm going to read this one. This isn't just like a cheesy like romance kind of thing. So high school sweethearts, Holly and Jerry were the kind of married couple that could finish each other's sentences, and even when they fought, like over who would be the one to get out of bed to turn off the light each night, they laughed. Holly didn't know where she'd be without Jerry. No one did, and that's how the list started, as a joke. If anything were to happen to Jerry, he'd have to leave Holly a list of things she must do in order to make it through the day in one piece. Then at the age of 30, Holly experiences the unimaginable. Jerry is diagnosed with a terminal illness. Holly doesn't know how she'll go on without him, and in truth, she doesn't want to. But Jerry has different plans for Holly. 2 months after Jerry's death, Holly emerges from her house to retrieve a mysterious package. When she opens it up, she finds that Jerry was true to his word. He's left her the list, a letter for each of the 10 months following his death, each signed P.S. I Love You. The letter instructs Holly to perform a series of unexpected tasks. Some leave her laughing out loud, and others shaking in her boots. It says continue on the back side, but yeah, I think they made a movie out of this, which I think I tried to watch it a couple years ago, and I wasn't quite into it. So I'm hoping that the book is way better, because I mean, it sounds like something I would like cry over. That sounds pretty terrible, but so yeah, reading that one. It's from Colleen Hoover, and I've only read one of her other books, It Ends With Us, and I actually really liked it. I just loved what it was about and her writing style, and I really like things I love books that are based on like real life circumstances where it really makes you think like, what would I do if this actually happened to me? Because it could. It's not like, you know, a fantasy thing or anything like that. So this one has been, well, all of Colleen Hoover's books I feel like have been recommended to me, but I picked November 9 first, and this one is Fallon meets Ben, an aspiring novelist, the day of her scheduled cross-country move. Their untimely attraction leads them to spend Fallon's last day in LA together, and her eventful life becomes the creative inspiration Ben has always sought for his novel. Over time and amidst the various relationships and tribulations of their own separate lives, they continue to meet on the same day every year, until one day Fallon becomes unsure if Ben has been telling her the truth, of fabricating a perfect reality for the sake of the ultimate plot twist. So this one, like the last one that I read, it was like about real life and relationships, and so it had like some romance in it, and this is not YA, so if you're too young, don't read it. But it also has like a little like thriller kind of in it. So yeah, I really enjoyed her It Ends With Us book, and so I'm hoping to enjoy this one. If you've read any of these books and you want to drop your comment below with a review about it, just go ahead and do that. Let me know which one that you really enjoyed, or if you have different books that you're reading this fall and you want to recommend them to me, please drop a comment below, because I just love when people recommend books. Like, I could read books all day long, and I just love having this like huge long list of books that I need to read that I haven't gotten to yet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Thanks.